It's a 30-second edition dedicated specifically to Tom Brady, who is active today. He is going to start, and as our ESPN Boston Patriots reporter Mike Reese said, Tom Brady sustained more than 10 stitches in his hand this week. The cut came on the inside of his hand, right next to his thumb. Robert Kraft, the Patriots owner, got the news while he was eating dinner in Florida, flew back, and like the other Patriots, watched him in practice and came away without any concerns. Brady starts today, Sam.
All right. Could Tom Brady's hand injury force the Patriots to change their game plan? He threw 53 passes last week against the Titans, and he's averaging more than 50 pass attempts in his last 5 playoff games. Brady's total of 251 passes is the most by any quarterback in a 5-game span in postseason history. So hold up, Adam just said 10 stitches. That sounds like kind of a big deal. Oh, Charles, you're downplaying,
more like
right?
3 stitches.
Okay,
Yeah.
it's 3. It's 10, but it's more like 3.
They put a little bit on it.
Oh, okay. A little something extra. All right, but that when I was reading how much he's been throwing the ball, I guess the question is now, is he going to be able to do it to that extent? If they have to throw the ball a lot to win this game, Matt, do you think he's able to do it with 10 stitches in his hand?
10 stitches is significant. I think it just probably speaks to the toughness of Tom Brady. But to hear that he threw the ball and threw the ball well in a Friday practice leads me to believe that, yes, he will be able to get it done. When you have a cut on the inside of your hand and you have stitches there, essentially you're going to have some sort of Band-Aid on or bandage on. And then you're going to have the glove so that the bandage stays in place. So for me, like thinking about him throwing the football, if he's able to do it on Friday, he'll be able to do it on Sunday. I guess the only X factor would be if he takes a hit or lands awkwardly on it where for some reason re-injures it. But the fact that he's been able to do it, I guess that's what I would, hang my hat on.
Randy, as a receiver, if you were only able to see him play with this injury just on Friday, we're told, is that a concern for you?
No, I think that, because we've all been there, Friday is more of the day that everyone relaxes because of Wednesday and Thursday. But for him to come in on Friday and throw the ball, the way they're reporting it, it just is giving me confidence as a receiver that this guy's ready. He's the #1 guy on our team. 48 hours before kickoff. So if he's coming in on Friday, throwing the ball, knowing that that's our down day, Sunday.
And I'll add, it's not so much a down day. It's a down day for receivers because it's typically red zone day.
Yeah,
so you're running from the 20-yard line in. So you're not putting the yards on as a wide receiver. But for a quarterback, you're also not throwing the ball more than 30 yards downfield. That doesn't mean you're not throwing the ball hard. Doesn't mean you're not practicing hard on Friday. Yes, it's a shorter day.
I can't believe we're still talking about this, man.
I know it.
I really can't.
But
You seem very confident in their offense today.
But you're saving their legs. That's what you do.
Exactly.
And in this case, we don't know if Tom can throw it down the field. One thing we do know is that he loves throwing to the backs. And so even if his hands restrict a little bit, the Patriots love throwing to their backs. And when you look at it, they make so much mileage off of this run and catch. Why? Because Brady's so accurate with the football. He can get these guys a chance. He'll turn a receiver if he has to by putting the football in a certain place. But the Jags are one of the rare teams that match up well against backs. So you got Miles Jack, you got Telvin Smith. These guys could run with anybody that the Patriots have, or quite honestly, anybody in the league. So expect a ton of this type of stuff where the Jags are isolating their guys one-on-one, and they have a rat defender in the low middle. That's how they're going to defend the Patriots.
You guys talking about Tom Brady, and yes, I'm really actually tired of talking about his hand. But for me, I'm looking at the offensive line up front. You're talking about him re-injuring, his hand. It's going to have to be the protection. They're going to have to keep Tom clean because, the report, did he hit it off someone's helmet as he followed through? I don't know. But I know that their front four is going to be coming today, and for him to re-injure it is going to be a setback for them. So the offensive line is going to really have to play really lights out for 4 quarters to take a lot of pressure off Tom Brady in that hand.
Well, one of the great things that Tom does, too, though, it has nothing to do with his hand. It's just how he sets the tempo. He is in charge of that tempo. When we talk about Jacksonville, they do rotate in defensive linemen. When they get down into that red zone, you'll see him a lot of times go quick count. And you've tried to defend it. He'll go quick count and run that outside zone play and just kind of get he sets the tempo offensively, whether it's no huddle or whether it's, using the huddle, staying on the field. He does a better job than anybody at that kind of thing. And that has nothing to do with, what his hands like.
Don't worry about Tom Brady's hand. Worry about the 4 guys on the other side of the ball that put their hands in the ground. Like we talked about earlier, the way to beat this team is to have 4 guys that can get pressure on Tom Brady. When you talk about Calais Campbell, you have been talking about the defensive line and those defensive tackles all year, but when I think about the New York Giants and how they beat them, it's so funny that Tom Coughlin is now down in Jacksonville Jaguars and the way this team is built. And going to get Calais Campbell from the Arizona Cardinals to come here and buy into this system, these guys remind me so much of those New York Giants. And when you had a Justin Tuck who could move all around the defensive line, he could play the nose, he'd be at 3, he'd be at 5. Calais Campbell does all of those things. So you never know where the star or where the most versatile guy is going to be from play to play, because a lot of times Justin Tuck would just stand up, he'd walk up and down the defensive line, and you got to figure out where is he coming from. And these guys can do the same thing. And then I think to your point, those linebackers, when you watch Telvin Smith pick that fumble up last week and run down the sideline, there wasn't the offensive guy that was gaining on him.
No,
he's leaving those guys. So very good matchup, like you say, with this defense and being able to match up in every area of the field, especially the defensive line. But then you got those 2 studs on the outside, the 2 corners. This is a tough matchup for the Patriots. And to go back to your earlier statement, your Sunday statement weeks ago. I want to pick Jacksonville today, but I don't know. But I like that team, man.
Rex, I know you're high on this defense, and for good reason. But we got to remember, this is also a defense who gave up 42 points last week to the Steelers. And then against San Francisco, like 44? So they can definitely be scored on, is my point. And a huge part of that today for the Patriots could certainly be Rob Gronkowski, who will certainly be a focus of the Jags defense today. The Patriots tight end finished with 8 touchdowns and was voted first team All-Pro. One of the highlights of the season was a 2-touchdown performance on Thanksgiving weekend against the Dolphins. It was Gronk's 16th career multiple touchdown game, breaking a Patriots record previously held by our Randy Moss.